Weeks ago, I was just browsing the internet looking for updates about Theta Zebu where I came across this. At first, I didn't think too much of it, but then I noticed more and more submissions were flowing in, and I thought I shouldn't let this opportunity slip. So I made Genbu, a mix of snapping turtle, Euphocephalus, and Stipendimise. I was confident that nothing too hard would come in, but then something did. Zing Reborn 2, the host of the Sky Hybrid Tour, made his own hybrids, plural, to submit to the tournament. Then I realized that Genbu wouldn't be enough. So then I started Project Suchotherium. Hello and welcome back to another hybrid video. Today I'll be discussing my powerhouse of a hybrid, queen of all hybrids, Hera. She's named after the queen of the ancient Greek gods, which seems fitting. But the rules of this tournament are the most, let's say, thorough of any competition yet. I'm also a big fan of prehistoric plants, so I'm happy that Volus Genmere is honoring the new season by making it so your hybrid must have a base geom that existed in the Cenozoic time period. Furthermore, only 2 pre-asteroid animals are allowed in the mix of species. So how can I make it destined for victory against the wide array of opponents? Well, this robust yet agile crocodilian that also happens to be the largest land predator of the time will fit the role perfectly. Baryonychus avorli was a giant land-dwelling crocodiliform that lived in South America from the Eocene to Miocene epochs, becoming the largest terrestrial predator of the Cenozoic era. It wielded a deadly set of jaws with its lower canines protruding from the jaw. This allows for better gripping, which we will not only update a little later, but we will also explain why this is important. They also have quite large legs that are held under them, contrasting most other crocodilians. To further complement that, there is no better addition than Arianapersuchus wengeri, a small, more traditional crocodile with better leg and muscle attachments, as well as a wider variety of teeth, including crushing molars. It also fills the first pre-asteroid space in her genome. Next, I'll be adding Garzapelta morali, a newly discovered type of armored archosaur that lived in the late Triassic period, about 115 million years ago, in what is now Texas, named for its discovery location and its shield-like armor with reinforced ossiderms. That will start off her armor. I'm going to upgrade the armor later, but for now her back is armored enough to counter most attacks. To increase stability, I'll add Bovierasuchus magafornis. It is an interesting group of crocodilians, the hoofed crocodilians, but the fused toes will only be on the hind limbs because the arms will be boosted with a future contributor. Also, it gives her cone-shaped teeth at the front of her mouth, which will be very important for her strategy of taking down smaller opponents. But if I told you now, it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? Now that she has some good offenses, I'm going to, again, boost her defenses. Since her base geom is a crocodile, she already has really tough hides, and because of the Garzapelta, her back is as armored as it could get. But how about the rest of her body? That's where Temix pangolin comes in. Covering her entire body with tufted keratinized scales, this goes all the way down to the end of her tail. Also, it sharpens her claws, making them deadly slashing weapons. But in case somehow an animal does get through her heavy armor, she will have a failsafe. That failsafe is the Chinese alligator. This allows her to have advanced blood clotting system, as well as the ability to counter anticoagulant venoms. There's still one more animal that contributes to the armor. The next animal will allow her to take even rhino charges with little to no damage. Most people would overlook this contributor. I bet you don't even know it exists. But what is this mystery creature, you ask? As it's commonly known as, the bramble shark. This unusual deep-sea shark has many weird things about it, but the thing I'm mostly going to use is its hardened ossiderms and cartilage layers over the bones. This is likely a missed opportunity, but I need something, so yeah. The cartilage over the bones acts as a shock absorber, so even the most powerful hits will be reduced to something she can shrug off, and this might even strip her opponents of their main weapon. That is something with a horn. With her armor finished, she is so durable that even the heaviest hits can't take her down. Next, I'll strengthen her bite with the Purosaurus. This will give her a truly lethal bite force as well as boosting her tail muscles and size, so she can take down larger opponents. So just don't think your size will save you. Now, with the potential for a wide array of opponents, I'm expecting that many people's hybrids will rely on venom to take down large opponents. With the addition of the Indian mongoose, she is immune to such venoms, including all neurotoxins and cryotoxins. Not even the most potent venoms will have an effect. Fun fact, at first I was going to give her own venom, but then I realized it's better to have immunity than have the venom herself. I know I just said that it is better to have immunity, but the next contributor is Dubious Sea Snake. Believe it or not, I am adding it for immunity, but of course it's venom too. See, this is a very interesting snake. Not only is it immune to sea snake venom, but it's also immune to stonefish venom and lionfish venom. This makes her practically immune to all venom types, but it's unlikely that the venom would even reach an open wound in the first place. Not to mention that one small animal is immune to her venom, making it hard for her opponent to have total immunity. Oh, and just one more thing. Opossums are weak to sea snake venom, so the next contributor pairs perfectly with the sea snake and is a better alternative to the shrew, the Komodo dragon. If you didn't know, shrews are frauds. Studies have shown that shrew teeth are actually containing much less iron than they appear to, because most of the red coloration is just staining from the small amount of iron they do have. The Komodo dragon, on the other hand, does have true iron teeth. But this time they're coating the outside of the teeth, making them significantly stronger than normal teeth. Also, it gives her way of administration for the venom, so I don't have to use the little brittle fangs of a snake. And the last two things that it will give her are chainmail-like armor covering her head, and the instinct to use her tail as a whip-like weapon. And since it has hardened scales on it, it is now deadly as a melee attack. To finish her off, I'll add the Western Gorilla. Say she's in a battle against the Glyptodont. It might seem like that her opponent has the advantage, but with the gorilla, she can anchor her powerful clawed hand into the belly of her opponent, flipping them over and finishing the job with one brutal bite. This might seem like a big feat, but gorillas are known to lift 4 times her own body weight. This also gives her intelligence, which makes her, dare I say, a clever girl. I won't be able to do that, but she's still going to be able to lift, flip, and punch with extreme amounts of force. Now that I finished her genome, let me give you a short explanation on how she will take down her many different opponents. Start from the biggest thing she will fight, the giant elephants and rhinos. Now, the big rhinos can't have horns. The horns would just be too heavy for that kind of size, so I'll mostly focus on the elephants. Supposing they have armor, she could still climb on top of them whether they can't reach her or not, and bite on any unprotected spots, or just bite their legs, tumbling them over, and finishing them off with another brutal bite. In the medium category, we have sloths, rhinos, the more traditional ones that is, and the larger reptiles. Against rhinos, supposing they have horns again, she would grab onto their horns and smash their heads into the ground, or just take a chunk out of them, honestly. Sloths are a little harder, since they also have powerful arms. She would be evenly matched, that is, if she didn't have her insane durability. This allows her to take many of the hits with minimal damage. She would be able to stay in the fight and take more hits longer than her opponent. That gives her the slight edge in a fight. Against larger reptiles, results can vary among species, but if it's a typical lizard, it doesn't really stand a chance. She could easily just bite off its head or just snap it in half. If it's turtle, that's where things get interesting, or at least a little less quick. Turtles are heavily armored, making them hard to hit. But if she shoots out its head, there's the danger. Revealing a weak neck is a bad move against a hybrid with very quick reflexes, giving the chance to either bite or grab the head, finishing the battle with one blow. Not to mention she could just flip over with her very powerful arms. Against smaller opponents or ones in packs, like saber-toothed cats, wolves, bears, or giant armadillos, they aren't even really a threat. No matter how powerful you make their bite, her limbs and torso are just too big for them to fit their jaws around, and she would just slap or bite them into oblivion. She does have one more unique tactic for taking down smaller opponents, which she inherited from the Bouvier-Suchus. Using her cone-shaped teeth at the front of her jaw to grab onto her unlucky victim, and then thrashing around her head, tearing them apart, or just throwing them around the arena. Coming in at 11 feet at her tallest Suchotherium, and 32 feet long, with a bite of 60,000 newtons, and a weight of 7 to 8 tons, she is, dare I say, almost undefeatable. She has strategies to take down small opponents, armored opponents, big opponents, and fast opponents. Suchotherium bellator, or the monstrous war crocodile, is the master of all hybrids. So throw your sloths, elephants, turtles, armadillos, snakes, and rhinos, and whatever else you've cooked up, do your worst. Thank you so much for watching my video from beginning to end. If you have any thoughts or comments about my hybrid, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.